Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to do something really interesting. We're going to follow the smart money. That means we're diving deep into the portfolios of some of the world's most successful investors to see what they are buying right now. Let's get into it.
It's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? If you could get a sneak peek inside the minds and the brokerage accounts of the most brilliant investors out there, what would you find? Well, today we get to do pretty much exactly that, using publicly available data to track their every move. So here's how we're going to break it down. Think of it like a funnel. We're going to start broad, figuring out who these super investors even are. Then we'll look at the stocks they all seem to agree on. From there, we'll narrow our focus to where the new money is going, zoom in on their riskiest, high-conviction plays, and finally, look at what might be the ultimate signal, the insider's edge. Okay, so first things first, when we say the pros or the smart money, who are we actually talking about here? Well, the term for these folks is super investor. These are the legends, right? The titans of the investing world whose long-term track records are so good, they're actually required by law to disclose what they're buying and selling. For this explainer, we're pulling our data from 82 of these top funds, all compiled by the fantastic resource Dataroma. And we're talking about the biggest names in the game. You know, you've got your value investing icon, Warren Buffett. You've got activist investors like Carl Icahn, who aren't afraid to shake things up. And then you have guys like Bill Ackman, who are known for making these huge, concentrated bets on just a few ideas. These are the minds we're getting a window into today. All right, let's peel back that first layer of our funnel. What are the stocks that show up again and again and again across these portfolios? This is the blue chip consensus. You can think of these as the foundation, the bedrock of their strategies. They might not be the most exciting, flashy new thing, but they represent a shared belief, a consensus view on companies built for long-term stability and market dominance. And when you look at the top 10 most owned stocks, wow, a theme just jumps right out at you. It's all about big tech and financial giants. You see Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, and both classes of alphabet stock. But it's not just tech. You've also got Visa, Meta, and even Warren Buffett's own company, Berkshire Hathaway, on the list. It's pretty clear that these massive, industry-leading companies are the unshakable core for many of these top investors. Okay, having a solid foundation is one thing. But what's happening now? Where is fresh capital being deployed? This is where we shift gears from those long-term holdings to recent buying activity to see if we can spot any new trends. And this is where it gets really juicy. If you look at the buying trends over the last 2 quarters, it was still all about big tech. Microsoft, Amazon, Meta were getting a ton of new money. But if we zoom in to just the last quarter's data, the picture starts to change. We're seeing new money flow into totally different areas, like healthcare with Icahn and Baxter, and enterprise software like Oracle. This could be a very early signal of a market rotation. Now, I have to put a huge asterisk here. It is absolutely crucial to know that this most recent quarterly data is very preliminary. It's based on just 2 investor filings out of the 82 that will eventually come in. So what we're seeing isn't a confirmed trend just yet. Think of it more as a faint, early signal that we need to keep a close eye on. Okay, let's zoom in even further down our funnel. Forget about broad trends for a minute. What are the single stocks that some of these super investors believe in so strongly they're willing to, well, basically bet the farm on them? These are what we call the big bets. This is when an investor puts a massive, almost scary chunk of their entire fund into one single company. We're seeing it here in companies like the online car seller Carvana, the giant Apple, and Molina Healthcare. When a pro puts this much skin in the game on one name, it's the ultimate vote of confidence. And just to let that sink in, look at this number. One of these top funds has over 83% of its entire portfolio in one stock, Carvana. That's a level of concentration that is just staggering. It's an incredibly powerful signal that this particular manager believes something truly special is about to happen with that business. And that brings us to the very bottom of our funnel. We've arrived at what many people consider to be the single most powerful buy signal in all of finance. This is what happens when a super investor's belief lines up perfectly with the belief of the people who know the company inside and out, its own top executives. So why is this so powerful? Well, think about it like this. An executive might sell their stock for a million different reasons, right? They need to diversify, buy a house, pay for college. Who knows?
But there's really only one reason they take their own hard-earned cash and buy more stock on the open market. They believe the price is too low and it's about to go up. It's the ultimate skin in the game. So this chart shows us where that's happening right now. Which of these super investor-owned stocks are also seeing the most insiders bowing in? At the top of the list, you've got the insurance company, W.R. Berkley Corp., followed by the Total Return Securities Fund and Alpha Metallurgical Resources, a mining company. Clearly, there's a lot of insider conviction in these names. And we're not just talking about the number of people buying, we're talking about the sheer scale. Look at this. In the last 3 months, insiders at just one of those companies, W.R. Berkley, have bought almost $500 million worth of their own stock. When management is writing checks that big, it sends an unbelievably strong message. So, as we start to wrap this up, what's the big idea here? Well, the point of an explainer like this isn't to just give you a shopping list of stocks. It's to help you learn how to read the signals the market is sending, from the wide-angle view of consensus all the way down to the high-conviction whispers of insider buying. And I think this classic quote from Warren Buffett just says it all. When a management with a reputation for brilliance tackles a business with a reputation for bad economics, it is usually the reputation of the business that remains intact. It's just a fantastic reminder that while all these signals are useful, at the end of the day, nothing is more important than the quality of the business itself. So that really leaves us with one final question for you. Now that you've seen how the pros signal their beliefs through their shared holdings, their big bets, and with their own money, what signals will you start looking for in your own financial journey? Thanks for watching.